Now at 5, a non-injury crash between two school buses in Joplin. Plus, we'll talk about exactly what happens to your ballot after you cast your vote. And
remembering October 7th in Washington, D.C. I'm Natalie Brandt with how people here are standing with Israel and a message from the families of those still held hostage 1 year later.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin authorities were clearing a crash on I-44 West near Range Line just after 10 a.m. this morning when another crash occurred. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Anthony Saviello. The secondary crash, which happened in the eastbound lanes, involved two school buses and a towed vehicle. The first bus was towing an SUV. As the first bus slowed in traffic, the second bus crashed into the towed vehicle, crushing it between them. Authorities say both buses were new and being delivered to a school district, but did not have children on board at the time. There were also no injuries reported. Well, we'll take a first look at weather with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it actually turned out to be a great Monday for us today. Temperatures pretty close to where they should be for this time of the year. 77 was our high. Chilly start, 46 during the morning hours. Average high is 74, record high 93. Kind of like the temperatures we had late last week. 76 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 74 degrees. Most of us about a 10-degree spread, lower 70s, lower 80s. Once you get into our southern counties. We look good. We have clear skies, but of course we have very, very strong Hurricane Milton. Look at that very tiny eye wall just to the northwest of the Yucatan Peninsula, clocking winds at a very impressive 180 miles per hour. Sustained will make landfall here in a couple days on the west coast of Florida. So we're going to be talking more about that. Plus, what are you going to get at your house here in just a bit?
All right, Doug, thanks. Well, when you turn in your ballot on November 5th, do you know what happens after? The Missouri Secretary of State says the next step is a process called certification. County election officials gather the tabulated numbers from ballot machines for an initial count. Those unofficial results are typically released on election night, but official results can take much longer. Every ballot is counted physically and analyzed by multiple people over the course of several weeks.
We keep counting. We then go through a process of certification. We go back and check the numbers. We keep track of how many ballots are sent to a polling location, how many are cast, how many are spoiled, how many are brought back. Does that match up with the number of votes?
The certification process typically lasts for 30 days past the election. When the process is complete, official election results are published on the Secretary of State's or the State Election Board's website. The November in order to vote in this election, residents must be registered in the county they live. The deadlines for voters in Missouri and Oklahoma to register are this week. Deadline to register to vote in Missouri is Wednesday, October 9th, and the deadline to register to vote in Oklahoma is Friday, October 11th. For more information on where and how to register, you can visit our website, koamnewsnow.com/elections. Israel and the world are marking 1 year since the brutal terrorist attack by Hamas that killed about 1,200 men, women, and children, including 46 Americans. More than 250 hostages were also taken that day, and nearly 100 of them are believed to remain in captivity. Natalie Brandt is in Washington, where she spoke with one of the families.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the October 7th memorial in Jerusalem, built to honor the more than 1,200 victims killed 1 year ago in the Hamas attack and to honor the hostages still held in Gaza.
The worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust, but unlike the Holocaust, we fight back. And we're fighting like lions with the support of the American government, the American people.
Netanyahu also thanked U.S. Senators Richard Blumenthal and Lindsey Graham, who traveled to Israel to mark the day. At the White House, a rabbi led a prayer before President Biden lit a candle for the victims and their families.
I can't believe that it's been a year. I mean, we're suffering, but I can't even imagine how much Omer is suffering.
Yasmin Magal attended a remembrance on the National Mall in honor of her cousin Omer Nutra. an Israeli-American citizen and New York native who was one of about 100 hostages still being held in Gaza.
What do you think is going to help bring back Omar and the other hostages who remain?
I think the leaders of the world need to work together to get a deal. Sadly, we do have to make a deal with Hamas because this is the only way to get them back alive.
As people in the Middle East fear a widening conflict, demonstrators in the region protested the year-long war that has also killed an estimated 40,000 Palestinians. Back at the memorial rally in Washington,
Do you think that the Middle East can have peace?
Of course.
Bahram Faruzanfar, originally from Iran, says he's standing with Israel and praying for peace. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, still ahead, the eyes are said to be the window to the soul, but could they also be a window to the hearts? And up next in Health Watch, helping minorities in the medical field.
College students get hands-on training in the ER, treating lifelike mannequins. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the program that's a prescription to bring more minority students into medical careers.
622-4072.
Topping today's Health Watch, they say the eyes are the window to the soul, and now scientists say they are also a window into your heart. A study from the University of Pennsylvania finds retina scans analyzed by artificial intelligence can detect elevated HbA1c, an important biomarker for cardiovascular health. Researchers say the technology could be used to boost early detection and manage chronic cardiovascular conditions like diabetes. Positive breast cancer frequently spreads to patients' brains with often deadly results, but a new type of medication shows real promise for treatment. German researchers tested an antibody drug that docks to the HER2 protein and found that patients taking it survive an average of more than 17 months without progression of cancer. They also see regression of brain metastasis in over 70% of patients. It can be good exercise, not to mention life-saving, but a new study from Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago finds many kids missed out on learning to swim during the pandemic. According to the study, nearly 3 out of 4 kids in Chicago had no swimming lessons in the summer of 2022, and Black and Latino children were even less likely to get lessons. They say it's vital to address the problem with outreach and by adding lessons for older kids in elementary and middle school. A unique program aims to recruit and train the next generation of doctors with the goal of encouraging more minority students to pursue medical careers. Bradley Blackburn takes us inside the training ER where they're getting hands-on experience.
It looks like an emergency room and sounds like one.
Come on, open your eyes, sir.
But the patient on the bed is a mannequin, the caretaker's college students.
What were you doing earlier today?
It's part of a program at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx. For decades, it's helped Black and Latino students from New York begin careers in medicine.
Graduates from this program become doctors. They become residents.
Nationwide, less than 7% of physicians are Hispanic and less than 6% are Black. Boosting those numbers could help improve care for minority patients.
To see a physician that looks like them, talks like them, shares cultural nuances that they don't have to explain certain things.
Juliana Dominguez-Paez was a participant a few years ago. Now she's in medical school.
As someone who's like first generation and didn't have anyone to really talk about medicine, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity.
The free program includes hands-on time with doctors, networking, and this simulation training that's a highlight.
I don't feel good.
These mannequins can cost $100,000 each. They are real training tools used in medical school.
1, 2, and 3.
A prescription to help young students start to think like doctors.
To feel like a patient is like going through a thing right now and like figuring out what they have and what we can do to make them feel better.
And someday soon, they could be making a difference for real patients. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, the Bronx.
Einstein College of Medicine made headlines last year when it was announced that the school is tuition-free thanks to a large donation. It's another way they hope to get more students from diverse backgrounds into medicine. That's a look at today's health news. Coming up, how much your next car could cost you.
The cost of car ownership continues to climb. I'm Danya Backus with the results of a new study.
Plus, our temperatures are going to slowly warm up over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Most of us into the upper 70s for afternoon highs. Looks great. Nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Pretty much crystal clear blue skies, and that is what we are going to be seeing as we go through at least the next couple days, and then we'll get some clouds in here by the middle of the week. All right, look at Milton. It's a very intense Category 5 hurricane, rapidly intensified from a Category 1 to a 5 very quickly over the past 24 hours. We'll make it a glancing blow on the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula, but you can see very tiny little eye wall. Now this hurricane will expand in coverage, meaning it's going to get bigger, not stronger, bigger. And the reason is we have this little trough of low pressure across the southeastern parts of the U.S., so you can see the clouds kind of fanning out. So that will eventually start to tame Milton down a little bit once it approaches the Florida coast, but still a very powerful hurricane. Clocking winds 180 sustained, Cat 5. Let's watch it. Tracks northeast. So by Tuesday afternoon, still Category 5 out in the warm ocean waters, and then continues to head toward Florida. So by Wednesday afternoon, with that shearing, those clouds kind of fanning apart, should drop to Category 4, and then a strong 3, low 4 by the time it makes landfall on the western coast of Florida. But again, that storm surge from Tampa to Fort Myers, Venice, it's going to be a big deal as we get into the next couple days. Now, back here at home, it's much calmer. Temperatures mainly sitting mid to upper 70s to near 80, so it's very nice. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and range line, 76. North winds at about 5 to 10. So it's turned out to be a fantastic day, fantastic evening. 70s, 60s, 50s. Chilly again. We're going to go down into the mid 40s later on tonight, but we have clear skies. Nothing's going on here. We look pretty good. In fact, if we look out toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. We are going to get 1 or 2 weak little waves that try to head toward us later on this week, but still our jet stream way to the north into southern Canada and then to the northern parts of the U.S. So as long as it stays up there, we're just not going to get a lot of weather, and of course we need the rain. For us tonight, mid 40s, cold, chilly. As we go through the morning hours, back into lower 70s by noon. A little bit warmer tomorrow. High temp 79, 80 degrees, but still a fantastic day. Tuesday evening, we drop back upper 40s to near 50. Once we go into Wednesday afternoon, great again, a little bit warmer, 83, 84. So a very slow warming trend as we go through the next few days. On your Tuesday, 49 to start, 72 by noon. High temp, right around 79 degrees. We're going to have plenty of sunshine throughout the day. And if we look at your 10-day, 84 Wednesday, 86 Thursday, very slight chance there could be a shower. I think most of us will stay dry. 87 on Friday, 89 Saturday. So it starts to heat up, but still mainly dry over the next 10 days. We are going to get a switch here. Today's October 7th. About 7 to 10 days, things will turn for the better.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, your next car could cost you more after you drive it off the lot. Topping today's Consumer Watch, buying a car is a major purchase. Before beginning the car buying journey, it's important to understand how much it will cost beyond the sticker price. CBS's Danya Backus shows us which cars will save you money.
Kevin Ng uses his 2 vehicles for different reasons. The Toyota Tundra pickup truck for camping and the Toyota Prius to commute to work. Besides the size, he says there's a major difference between the two.
It's definitely cheaper to own the Prius. Setting aside just gas mileage, it's still cheaper to own the Prius by far.
A new study from AAA finds the average cost to own and operate a new vehicle is now almost $12,300 annually.
an increase of $115 from 2023.
And the reason we're seeing this is due to finances. So there are very high interest rates for buying a car and also depreciation of vehicles.
Gianella Giglino is with AAA. She says the popularity of oversized vehicles loaded with high-tech features has led to an increase in new car prices and payments. EVs have the second highest ownership cost due to depreciation, purchase prices, and finance charges. Gas pickup trucks are number one. The most affordable vehicles to own and operate are small sedans and hybrids. They have good gas mileage, low maintenance cost, and rank in the middle for depreciation, financing, and insurance.
The Prius is largely maintenance free. The front brakes got changed once at 70,000 miles only because I got in a minor accident.
And hybrids are growing in popularity. 1 in 3 Americans told AAA it's likely or very likely they will buy a hybrid in the future. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Some Ram truck owners will need to take a trip to the dealer. Chrysler is recalling more than 129,000 of its MyRam 1500 pickups that were built in 2023. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration says there's an issue with the steering column control module in these vehicles. Officials say the glitch could cause drivers to erroneously signal for a lane change, which could result in a potential accident. Drivers of affected trucks will receive a notification in the mail this month. Repairs will be made free of charge. A key borrowing rate for American consumers has climbed to a level we haven't seen in months. On Monday, the yield on the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury note broke 4% for the first time since August. According to TradeWeb, it went as high as 4.029% during the day. That extends a jump in the 10-year yield last week after a blowout September jobs report on Friday. The report led investors to adjust their expectations for how much the Federal Reserve will cut rates this year. Companies and everyday Americans are likely to feel pressure from these higher for longer rates. The 10-year yield tracks the rate on things like mortgages, student loans, and car loans. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, another look at families affected by the Israel-Hamas war 1 year after it began. Then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more details on how ballots are certified following an election. Plus, a McDonald County, Missouri judge formally hands down sentencing in a murder case, and authorities in Joplin respond to a crash involving 2 school buses and an SUV. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, Frontenac United Methodist Church members got busy making noodles for its well-known 75-year tradition called the Chicken and Noodle Dinner. The church invited Frontenac Middle School's FAC to lend a hand. We got to sit down with one of the original members, and she says it's all done to benefit the church's fundraiser. Other members expressed excitement for the middle school students who helped with the workload. We'll have more on that story later tonight.
It's a lot of people don't realize how much work is put into making the noodles, and it's just not making the noodles, it's the ones that cleaning up and serving and this and that.
The church will start taking orders Wednesday of next week. It was a pretty good day outside too.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great day. Temperatures upper 70s for us today. A notch or two warmer for us tomorrow, near 80, 84 Wednesday. Maybe a random sprinkle or two on Thursday. We need the rain. It's not going to be much. And then heating up to near 90 by the time we head into the weekend. Better chances for rain here in about 10 days or so.
All right. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great evening.